The TCP/IP model is having 4 layers: link layer, internet layer, transport layer, and application layer. So OSI layer is depending on the 7-layer architecture, but the TCP/IP model is a 4-layer architecture. So if you are comparing the OSI model and TCP in terms of layers, so OSI is having these are the 7 layers and TCP 4 layers. The bottom 2 layers of OSI model, physical and data link, are combined together and called as the link layer in the TCP/IP model. So here the link layer will perform the functioning of both physical and data link layers of OSI model. Then the network layer is similar to the internet layer. So the internet layer of TCP/IP model is same as network layer of OSI model. And the third layer, transport layer, is same as transport layer of OSI model. Then application layer of TCP/IP is nothing but the same as, so application, presentation, session. So these 3 layers are merged together: session, presentation, application layers of OSI model. Those 3 are merged together and called as application layer in TCP/IP. So no separate session layer, no separate presentation, no separate physical layer in case of TCP/IP. So the link layer is same as combination of physical and data link layer. Internet layer is same as network. Transport is same as transport. Application is same as session, presentation, application layer of OSI model. So as a result, the functionality is also same to that. Now instead of each layer role, we'll see some of the protocols used in the TCP/IP model. So we will be discussing the different protocols that are being used in TCP/IP model that we will see in the next few slides. So if you see the TCP/IP model, so these are the different protocols that are being used in various layers. So physical and data link layer, nothing but link layer. So IP protocol is same as internet layer. Then TCP, UDP, transport layer protocols. Telnet, FTP, SMTP, and DNS are application layer. So the bottommost layer is physical and data link, that is nothing but link layer in case of TCP/IP model. So IP is the protocol in the second layer, that is internet layer, which is equal to network layer in the OSI model. Third is TCP and UDP, same as transport layer in OSI model. And finally, Telnet, FTP, SMTP, DNS in the application layer, same as session, presentation, and application layer of OSI reference. Now we will see the functioning of these particular protocols. Telnet. So this Telnet is the protocol, Terminal Emulation Network. By using this particular protocol, one can log into a remote system and the desktop of the remote system will be appeared on the user system. Suppose if I am using the Telnet protocol on my system and if I log into some XYZ system present far away, so using the Telnet, then the desktop of XYZ system will be appeared on my laptop. So on my screen, the desktop of the remote system XYZ is appeared. Then by operating my system, then I can operate the remote system with commands by using on my system. So I need not move from my system and I need not go to XYZ system for operating XYZ system or using the XYZ system, okay, or executing the commands in XYZ system. So by sitting in front of my system, I can execute the commands of XYZ system with the help of Telnet. That is the use of Telnet protocol. The second is FTP, File Transfer Protocol. So using this particular protocol, either I can upload the files from my system into internet or any other system in the network, or I can download the files from the internet into my system using the FTP. But here the FTP, there are, see, I should have an FTP account. If I have the FTP account with a particular organization, Then I can upload files into that organization, or I can download files from that organization using the FTP. So if I don't have any FTP account, then I can have an anonymous FTP, that is guest. So using the guest, what I can do is I can upload only minimum information into a global area where everyone can see that information, or I can download information from global area where everyone can see that information. So only partially I can do uploading or downloading part without having the FTP account. By having the FTP account, I can fully, so I can upload anything or I can download anything from that particular site. So that is file transfer protocol, FTP. The second is, the next one is SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. SMTP is a simple mail transfer protocol. By using this, we can send the mail, we can create and send the mail. So this protocol is for transmitting the mail from our mail server to the receiver's mail server. Okay, suppose I have my mail account, say for example Gmail, and I want to send a mail to X. X is having a mail account, say Hotmail. Now my account is with Gmail server and X account is with Hotmail server. Now I want to send the mail. I'll open my mail. I log into my mail server with my user credentials, my login credentials. Then I'll open the compose mail. Then I'll type the mail ID of the X. Then I'll type whatever information I want to send as a mail. The moment I click on send button, then mail, whatever I have created, will be leaving my mail server and it will reach the Hotmail server where the X is having the mail account. That is SMTP. And with this only we can send. But if I want to open whatever mails I have received, so SMTP will not support. I have to go for another protocol, Post Office version 3 or okay. So Post Office version 3 protocol I have to go for, or another protocol is IMAP, Internet Message Access Protocol. Okay, IMAP is Internet Message Access Protocol. By using that IMAP, I can open the mail and I can see my mail. So if you are using the POP3 protocol, so once you log into the mail account using the POP3, whatever mails you have received will be downloaded automatically into your host, your local system or your desktop or laptop. And after that, you need not log in to go through the mails every time. Whereas if I am using the IMAP, so every time I want to see the mail, I have to log in. Even though I have received the mail yesterday and yesterday I have already gone through the mail, but again I want to go through the mail, so again I have to log into mail account if IMAP is used. Whereas if I am using the Post Office version 3, Post Office protocol version 3, then yesterday when I received the mail, the moment I logged in and see the yesterday's mail will be downloaded into my system automatically. Now today again I want to go to the mail, I need not log in anyway. That particular mail is already downloaded into my system, so I can go through it any number of times, anytime. So that is the difference between. So if a user want to go through the received mail, either POP3 or IMAP, any one of the protocols are needed for going through the mails, received mails. Then another protocol is DNS, domain name system. So this domain name system, what it does, so we'll be having a server called DNS server, domain name system server. That server will be maintaining so IP addresses and the names, IP address and the domain name. So suppose my name is Rach Reddy. I'll have some IP address. If anyone want to communicate with me, so they have to use my IP address. If they say my name, may not be that is recognized. So a domain name server will maintain my IP address and my name in a table. The moment somebody gives the URL, so directly the request goes to the domain name server, and the domain name server will supply the IP address of that requested URL. Then our browser will send the IP address as the request to open the web page. Suppose if I want to open a web page of, say, one particular organization, then I'll type the URL. Okay, so domain name of that organization. But my browser is not aware of where that organization, its IP address. So immediately my system protocols will send a DNS request for that particular organization. Then the domain name server will supply the IP address of that organization. That my system will receive the IP address of the organization. Then my browser will send the request to the organization server with the IP address. Now that organization server will open and it is going to provide my requested information, okay, on my system. So that is the use of DNS. Because we human beings, it is easy for us to remember the names, but for the systems, it is easy for them to remember the numbers. So system doesn't remember the names, but they remember numbers. So we human beings remember the names, but not the numbers. So that is why it is familiar for us to use the names. It is very convenient for us to use the names, but whereas systems will use the numbers. So the mapping between the name and number will be provided by the DNS server, so that we can get through DNS protocol. So these are the different protocols, along with some other protocols are available in this HTTP, HTTPS. So if I want to open a web page, then I am going to give the command or protocol I am going to use is HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So that protocol is responsible to open the web page of any website. So likewise, all these are the protocols which are available in the application layer. So this HTTPS will take care of the security part also, that is presentation layer task. So that is why these protocols, it's a combination of session, presentation and application layer. The roles of those three layers will be performed by the single application layer in the TCP IP. So these are the four different protocols, along with other protocols what we have seen, POP3, IMAP, HTTPS, likewise. The next, transport layer. The protocols used in the transport layer of TCP model is TCP and UDP. TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, UDP, User Datagram Protocol. So the TCP or Transmission Control Protocol is a connection-oriented protocol. TCP is a connection-oriented protocol and UDP is a connectionless protocol. So using the connection-oriented protocol, the sender knows whether receiver has received or not. Like how we are knowing through WhatsApp whether receiver has received it or not. Okay, so by seeing the blue ticks, the receiver has seen the message. So only two ticks, the receiver has the message is delivered to the receiver likewise. So that is like a WhatsApp message, TCP. Whereas UDP, User Datagram Protocol, is a connectionless. The sender doesn't know whether receiver has received or not. Like sending SMS. If I send the SMS, I don't know whether receiver has seen my SMS or not, whether it has reached the receiver or not. Those things are unaware. So that is User Datagram Protocol. Unless user receiver replies, yes, I have received. Okay, sender doesn't know. That is the meaning of UDP, or connectionless. So connectionless doesn't mean that there is no physical connectivity. For every communication, connectivity between the sender and receiver must be there. Through a temporary path or permanent path or any way. Somehow the sender and receiver must be connected for any communication. So communication media must be there between sender and receiver for any communication. But here the user datagram protocol connectionless doesn't mean that no connectivity. Connectivity is there, but the sender is unaware of whether receiver has received or not without acknowledgements. Whereas in case of TCP, the sender knows whether receiver has received or not. So that is the difference between these two protocols. Transmission control protocol is a connection oriented. User datagram protocol is a connectionless protocol. So these are the two different protocols used depending on the requirement. So some people will go for the TCP, some people will go for the UDP. And simple application that we come across. So all the live programs like TV programs, live programs will use the UDP. So it is not bothered. So the live program telecast persons, they are not bothered whether it is delivered to every user or not. Simply transmit and forget. That is the meaning of one way of UDP. So these are the two protocols, TCP and UDP under transport layer. And in case of internet layer, only one protocol is used in the TCP IP model, that is IP, Internet Protocol. IP is Internet Protocol, so which is dealing the communication between the networks in terms of packets. So routing, okay, routing or routing will be taken care by this IP, Internet Protocol. Along with these other protocols available are ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol. One more is available, that is ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol. So that is being used by the router. The moment router identifies a congestion in the onward path, then immediately it is going to send an ICMP message to sender. That onward path from me is congested, heavy traffic is there, so please slow down your transmission. That is the meaning of an ICMP message. One type of ICMP message, Internet Control Message Protocol, will take care of like this. So error messages or control messages will be sent to the senders or receivers depending on the requirement. Likewise, different protocols are there in this. And the bottom layer protocols, ARPANET, SATNet, packet radio, LAN, all these are for medium access control protocols. Okay, communication, media access control protocols, packet radio, so wireless communication, satellite network, wireless communication, so ARPANET, wired communication, so LAN, wired communication, depending on, so whether we are using the communication media either wired or wireless, based on that the protocols, respective protocols will be taking care of using that communication. One more is FDDH, fiber distributed data. So far, if you are using the fiber cable, then FDDH is the protocol responsible for that. So likewise, so different protocols. So bottom layer protocol, these protocols are used for media access. So communication path, accessing of the communication. If I want to send anything from my system, so my physical layer protocol should access the communication media for my information to be transmitted. So that is the purpose of the bottom layer protocols. So here actually speaking, they are part of data link layer, but here the data link and physical layer are part together. Okay, so this FDDH or SATNet or packet radio, what did that does? They are going to convert the packets or datagrams into bit streams in terms of, if it is packet radio, radio waves, LAN, cable, wired cable, okay, electrical pulses, likewise. So that is the purpose of this. So these are the different protocols and their functionalities. Like this, so many other protocols are used in TCP/IP. So whatever are being listed, we can come across the function of that.